everyone, welcome back to Willow Reddit Reads. If you love diving into the wild, emotional, and downright unbelievable stories Reddit has to offer, you are in the right place. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. It really helps support the channel and lets me keep bringing you these daily reads. Today's post is a good one, full of drama, emotions, and maybe a little bit of madness, just the way we like it. So get comfortable, grab a snack or a drink, and let's jump straight into today's Reddit story. And remember, let me know in the comments whose side you're on and what you would have done. Alright, let's begin. Am I the a-hole for not helping my ex's stepkids during his emergency? I am a 32-year-old female with 2 children, ages 11 and 10, whom I share 50-50 custody with my ex-husband, a 34-year-old male. We divorced 7 years ago, and ever since then we have been on tense, strained terms. When he remarried 3.5 years ago, things became far worse. His wife never hid her dislike of me. At school events, she would intentionally sit between us, complain that the children hugged me first, and glare at me for simply existing within 10 feet of them. The worst incident happened at a school function when she accused me of pinching her daughter. Several people saw what truly happened. I caught the 4-year-old before she fell. Despite clear witnesses, the wife went ballistic, screaming that I hurt her child and claiming she should call the police. After that, I promised myself I would never interact with her children again. Thankfully, my kids are not close to them and never ask to bring them to my home or to birthday parties I host. A few weeks ago, during my ex's custody week, he and his wife were involved in a serious car accident. His babysitter called me when they didn't return home. She said I was listed as an emergency contact and she didn't know what to do. I tried calling my ex with no answer, but then his mother contacted me, informing me about the accident and the hospital stay. I told her the babysitter had called and that someone from their side should come for the younger children. I drove over and picked up my own kids. The babysitter begged me to take all 4 children or stay with them, but my children wanted to come home and did not want their step-siblings with us. I told the babysitter that the other 2 children were not my responsibility. I was not their parent, and given the history with their mother, I was not risking further accusations. I gave her my ex's mother's number so she could arrange care. The next morning my kids and I visited the hospital. My ex was furious, accusing me of abandoning his stepchildren and not helping when he needed me. I refused to argue in front of our kids. His anger escalated when he learned that neither his nor his wife's family would care for the children, and he expected me to do it. I told him clearly that I am not connected to those children, and I would not put myself in a position where his wife could invent another lie to harm me. Since then, he has called me names and acted increasingly volatile. His wife is still recovering from serious injuries, and I know stress plays a role, but he continues to insist I should feel ashamed for taking my issues out on his stepkids. But I do not believe I am wrong. My responsibility is to my own children and to protecting myself from people who have already shown they will lie about me. His stepchildren are not mine, and I will not risk losing custody or facing false accusations again. My thoughts about this situation. Honestly, I think the reaction toward the her is unfair. People forget that boundaries exist for a reason, and in this case those boundaries were created because the stepmother repeatedly accused her of harming a child. Once someone makes a serious false accusation, especially one involving a child, you have every right to protect yourself from being in that situation again. That accusation alone could have damaged her reputation, custody, and even her future. It's also important to remember that the stepchildren are not her responsibility. She is not their parent, their guardian, or even a trusted adult in their lives. And considering the history of hostility, expecting her to step in as an emergency caregiver is unrealistic. No one should be guilted into assuming responsibility for children they have no legal or emotional connection to, especially when the other biological families wouldn't help either. Could it feel cold from the outside? Sure. But context matters. She wasn't ignoring kids in danger. They were with a babysitter, in a safe environment, and she even provided the correct emergency contact. She did her part without crossing the line that could put her at risk. Her ex is projecting his frustration. He's overwhelmed, scared for his injured wife, and desperate, so he's looking for someone to blame. But that doesn't make it her fault or her problem. His household emergencies do not automatically become her responsibilities. In my opinion, she made a reasonable, protective choice, one based on past experience and real concern about false accusations. Setting boundaries doesn't make someone heartless. It makes them aware, cautious, and smart about protecting their own children and their own peace.